Welcome back. Positioning. Well, positioning is the place that you occupy in the minds of your colleagues and your clients and probably your competitors. And it's how you're distinguished from your colleagues or competitors by your colleagues, your competitors, or your clients. It's what marketing experts call your personal brand. Not the business brand, personal brand. So just in the comments below, tell me how you think you're perceived at the moment. What is your personal brand? Robert Downey Jr. is a case in point of a personal brand gone wrong. He actually began his career in the 1980s as a fairly youthful actor and quickly rose to fame and was quite well known in a number of, I suppose you call them Brat Pack pictures. But in the late 1990s and early 2000s, fame took its toll and he succumbed to substance abuse and was in trouble with the law. Lots of photographs with numbers in front of him in the LA County Sheriff's Department. So he was in and out of rehab, causing all sorts of issues. And the studios couldn't get insurance to make sure that he actually turned up for work. And as a result, the roles dried up. So his career was in a bit of a mess, and he was in a real state. And at some point, Downey concluded that it was time for him to dry out, obviously, as the roles had dried up. And he made a real strong effort to get back, to pull himself back together, and made a comeback. Now, his comeback route was a bit strange, and it still evokes some commentary, in that he played an actor in a film called Tropical Thunder, or Tropic of Thunder, Tropical Thunder, which was a comedy, a buddy movie. But he played obviously he's white, he played an actor who blacked up to get a role in a film. So it's kind of in a way, it was a sort of an allegory for himself. Now that still evokes some commentary in some quarters I'm not really interested in that. But what it presented was a slightly unusual route for him to get back in to prove that he was a good actor and he could complete a film. And as a result, in 2008, he was approached by, or just before 2008, he was approached by a new studio, Marvel, to take a role in a science fiction film called Iron Man, and he became Tony Stark. And the rest, as they say, is history. Had a long run within the series until he was finally killed off as a character, although I've no doubt he'll make a comeback at some point. But it launched this massively successful Marvel Cinematic Universe, of which he was an integral part. And it solidified his comeback, and he's done all sorts of interesting films since then. And he now remains very highly paid and much sought after. So here's to success. Why include that story? Well, it's an illustration of how you can take a damaged personal brand and rebuild it. So if you've got a good brand, you can also take it further by sitting back and looking at it. Now, positioning in terms of business is not just about sole traders, solopreneurs like me, entrepreneurs, small business owners, small business professionals. I think it's equally relevant to contractors and employees in all types of businesses, and particularly in businesses where who you are and what you do really counts for getting you the next role or keeping the one that you're actually in, or getting that promotion. And success isn't just about your knowledge and your skills and the hours that you work. And lots of us would be deemed to be far more successful based on our knowledge, skills, and the hours that we work. But it's also heavily influenced by trust, by influence, and by peer recognition. And constructing this idea of positioning needs thought, as I'm going to show you in the next sequence of videos that's coming up. And I think the proper positioning is absolutely vital to performance. And it's the personal counterpart of the famous organization's business model, the business model canvas that I go on about quite a bit. Now, a colleague, Jane Anderson, who is regarded as a branding guru, and Jane knows what she's talking about. She's been doing this for a long time, and is very, very well respected and very good at it. What she says is that positioning is fundamental to creating trust and having influence. It's more than just creating an image. It's about owning your space in your industry. Pretty strong words there from Jane. So, if we're going to tackle a performance issue that you might have, or deal with the challenge that you're facing, good or bad, how you're positioned and how you're perceived is absolutely vital. It's the first step in moving you forward. So with that in mind, give me a couple of more thoughts about how you think you're perceived and positioned just at the moment and what you might need to do differently. Just put them in the box below. We use a particular approach, or I use a particular approach to mapping your personal position using what I call a personal professional canvas. And I'll just switch cameras here so you can have a look. There we go. And this is drawn from this work by Tim Clark and Bruce Hazen, I think that's said. And it's clearly off the work of Alexander Osterwalder and Yves Pigneur, the Business Model Canvas. It's a great little book to have a look at. And this is the new edition called Business Model You. Just wanted to acknowledge that that's where that work's drawn from. But what this canvas does is it basically lays out who your customers are. Who do you help? It lays out the value that you provide, how you help, your value proposition. What is it that you actually do? It looks at how you interact with your customers. What are your customer relationships? It looks at how customers know of you and how you deliver. What are your channels? How do you find your customers? How do you deliver to them once you've found them? It covers your revenue. What is it that you get? Then on the other side of the canvas, we need to understand what it is you do. What are your key activities? We need to understand your key resources. Who are you and what do you have? And your key partners. Who helps you? So I have an EA, I have an SEO specialist who supports me. And then I have to look at the costs of all of those people and all of the various subscriptions that I use. I'm not going to go into that in too much more detail, but I think it's too important to acknowledge that that's where we're going with all of this. Now, as I said, I'm not going to fill that out now because we've got to work through a series of other questions, a series of worksheets, more canvases. We've got to think about this through and really tease it out as I'm going to demonstrate. But it is an important approach. So if you want to enjoy further success from where you are now, or you want to tackle a challenge of some description, understanding what I've called, just down here, your personal professional canvas, understanding your profile is absolutely vital. And that's because good positioning brings clarity. It brings confidence. Not just for you, which is clearly important, but more importantly for your clients, your colleagues, your customers. It's the other people the people you want to work with, the people you work with, and generally where it is you want to go with your work, life, and business. So we're going to have a look at different elements of that over the next few videos.